Welcome back, boys and some girls. This video is targeted more toward Intrepid, as I already tried to find out what's going on through the formal way, or just let them know what I think through the formal way, but since the video is here, you can guess that it didn't work. Ashes is fun, yes, we're not here to talk about that. It's not gonna be something about, oh, the game sucks, the game this, the game that. It's not about this. I just want to talk about a series of strange decisions that was being made by Intrepid that causes me to think one of two ways happened. Either they are very short-sighted, or they are deliberately messing with the project. I'll explain. Phase 1 of testing went as one would expect. A lot of bugs, network issues, exploits, and whatnot. But a big amount of those has been fixed, and toward the end of Phase 1, things were pretty playable and heading in a good direction. At this point, we were pretty close to the long-awaited Phase 2, with all the promises and features, so a lot of people just quit and waited for Phase 2, me included. And surprise, surprise, you only get one server for the EU, which is where I play. At first I thought this is a dumb decision and the game isn't ready for it, but then I remembered we now have the tropics and the desert to spread the player base. Not Phase 2 is just Phase 1 with player stalls and freeholds. The tropics is still the same, the desert is empty of any life, same amount of mobs and huntable creatures for triple the player base. It made me think, how did we reach this point? And I think I have an idea. If I'm right, just take the tips at the end and move on. I think Steven and team were so focused on getting big number of players on the servers, they didn't stop to think if they should. The world isn't ready for that. If they planned on doing it to test capacity, then sure. Just let us know so everyone can make the plan accordingly. If this is a conspiracy and they just didn't tell us to prevent people from saying, I'll come back later when it's actually Phase 2, then it concerns me that they need to lie to get their goals, because it never stops there. But as all things in life, it is usually just how it seems, and I do believe the team just didn't see anything beyond keeping the promise of big numbers on the server, which is a good idea, but for later on phase, because the game isn't ready. And I will explain this. In Phase 1 we were about 2k players per server, and things were pretty balanced for that. Meaning the amount of dungeons and POIs almost fit the amount of players trying to level up, meaning there was conflict but not over every single gram. The same thing applied to artisan professions. The player numbers were a bit over what the game could hold, and it worked. There was conflict, but not over every single rock. This problem isn't being helped at all by the resource spawning method, which takes empty slots and just fill them with random resources. So tier 3 resources can take the same space as tier 1 resources. And in a time like now, when no one is able to harvest anything above novice, you are left with many useless resources in the world that take spawn locations from useful materials, same for hunting animals. Now that you add this problematic spawn method and the balance that was in Phase 1 and triple the player base, you get what happened the last 2 days on the server. Everything in the zone from Lionhold up to the nodes is empty, like the locust has been there. Trees are gone, minerals, flowers, the world is cleaned from tier 1 resources. All we can see is just tier 2 and tier 3, and it is only because no one is able to harvest them yet. The same thing will happen the second they are available. And we didn't even mention that most players could not even get a spot to grind, so a lot of them just went and did the same thing they did from the start of Phase 1, Titan's Ring, which gives you a decent amount of experience and glint. However, some players decided to actually exploit it and just AFK in the same place to gain XP passively. Obviously this is a problem, but it isn't new. As I said, in Phase 1 it was the same. The difference is there were not as many players playing, so people could just go and find a different spot or a more efficient place to level up, but now they don't. So just like water, people take the path of least resistance, and this turns out to be the passive XP event. Who knew? This whole problem ended by the devs spawning high-level bears to kill the players that were AFKing in the ring, and threatening to ban those who will continue to abuse it, which is what you should do to exploiters. But leaving people with no real option will tend to result in things you may not like. I could definitely see a case being made for entrapment. Now I'm done with the fact and math side of the things, so let's move on more to a vibe kind of topic. I played originally on Lotharia, and the server had a very nice player base. We had a lot of respective PvP, and some that wasn't, but hey, that's the game. Right now I see many racist and toxic people all over global chat, combined with the swarm of people everywhere. It doesn't really help the social aspect of the game. I was really looking forward to play with the same names I recognize from phase 1 and have fun experiences with those same people again. But now I see Dildo Squad guilds and other made up names that carries the expected players within them. Really destroys the fun. I am aware this is Intrepid's first game, however, they do have some industry veterans, and even without them, you don't need any experience to realize that having the same supply by tripling the demand won't have any good results. We will see great inflation in Ashes of Creation's economy unless this is fixed by either more land with actual content in it or more servers until this point is reached. That is all I had to say. Hopefully this will be fixed because I do love the game and I do want to play it for longer. If you're not from Intrepid, do whatever you can to spread this out. I don't know, just send it to a bigger creator or big creator, whoever. I just want the game to be good, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, let me know why so I can improve. And besides that, keep us safe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.